Yeah, so Kato Models, a company from Japan, created this N-scale TGV Thalys. TGV standing for the Tram Grande Vitesse. Thalys, I believe, is how it would be pronounced in English. In French, Thalys. The train itself, obviously in real life, was prototyped in 1981 and produced by a company called Alstom. First operated commercially in 1996 on the Paris to Brussels Cologne route, and as shown here, now operates, well, it certainly operates all over France, and also now operates all the way up, as far up as Amsterdam, and all the way down, as I say, to the Alps. What we'll do is, this is the 10 car pack. There is a 4 car pack available. Take it over to the bench so I can film from above, and we'll have a good look at the packaging and then have a good look at the model as well in some detail. I do have an N-scale test track that we can run the train up and down on. Unfortunately, I don't have a layout anymore in N-scale. It's just this test track, but we'll certainly get the train running. I haven't run it, I don't suppose it's been running 10 years. And I don't even remember running it when I first got the model, but I would have done. So let's see if it still runs, and yeah, let's go over to the bench and, as I say, get into the detail. So let's take a look at the front of the box here. So it's Kato Precision Railway Models. It's stock number or release number K10910 in N-scale. N-scale being 1 to 160. So just a little bit smaller than the new Hornby 1 to 120 scale. The pack was released in 2005. This is the 10 car variant. There is a 4 car variant available. It says it's DCC friendly. I don't know what that means. I assume that there's not a socket that you can just plug a chip into, but may require a little bit of tweaking. Originally retailed at €290, so back then probably about £200. I forget what I paid for it. I've had this in the collection for many years, probably 10 years. I don't recall running it. I'm sure I would have done, but anyway, as I said in the introduction, you can see here there's a sort of schematic of where it would run, everywhere from Paris, Cologne in Germany, up to the Netherlands, to Amsterdam. It pretty much runs all over Europe. I believe they're still running. They're still using them in anger and running at the high speeds. Let's just pop the box over. One more point, sorry. It comes with a display track as well. Okay, so turning over the box. As I may have mentioned, TGV Thalys. I believe the French pronounce that Thalys. Produced by Alstom. It was first put into operation in 1996. I think I said all of this in the introduction, but I'll just run through it quickly. Since then, 17 of this high-speed train have been put into operation. Remember, this was written in 2005 on the Brussels to Cologne to Amsterdam routes, as well as to the Alps and the Mediterranean area. In order to travel these distances, the train is equipped with 4 different currents and 7 different signals. I think I said 14 in the introduction, with an output of 880 kilowatts. Can reach speed of 300 kilometers an hour. So that's the background there. Obviously some little bits of information here on the track, and 10 car model. So let's slide it out the box and see what's in there. I really can't remember, it's been so long. So I'll just turn it back round this way. Right, hold on, I'm going to move that over there. Let's have a look. So I'll come back to the instructions in a moment. So actually quite a nicely presented model, straight out the box there. So just taking away the plastic there. So there's quite a nicely presented piece of display track, and over here it's a very small, as you can see, single center buffer, which on these engines, the front would lift up and there'd be a coupling point so that they could run these in series. If they were running an extra long train, say 20 carriages, you'd find in the center of the train 2 of these lead cars, sort of nose to nose. Hence why there's a buffer in the center. That's quite a nice touch. And there's a very small sort of semaphore signal or something there. I'm not going to take that out because I won't get my fingers in there. So on the instructions, usual, as I say, there's all the bits and pieces on there. I'm not going to go through all this, just telling you how to couple them, how to uncouple them, and you know, then a build sheet which comes with the, obviously with the set. Okay, so I'm just going to stop for a minute while I go and take these out of the box, because they're going to be very, very fragile, and then we'll have a review in detail of the cars. Okay, so I've lifted a few of the cars out of the box. I have to say they didn't come out very easily. They're extremely fragile. So as you can see, there's one. This is the power car. I can feel the motor in it. It's a nice weight. And a dummy car here, so it is only a single powered car. Very detailed, very nice pantograph. I'm just looking over it. I can't see any sort of flash lines or moulding lines. It's actually a really nicely detailed model. Yeah, very nice indeed. So that's the lead power car, and then the first of the coaches has this sort of streamlining aeroed affair. So obviously that would be the coach that connects into the power car, and you can see these two are on separate bogies. I don't know whether that's like that in real life. I'm guessing it would be. And then following that, you then get the shared bogies that sit between the carriages. It's you know, you'd see on something like the Eurostar, I guess. Okay, and then running through the train back to the other end is the other dummy car, and again it's associated coach on there. I don't know if I lift that up whether the camera's picking up the detail on there. What I'll do is I'll include some pictures, you know, some stills of this, so you can get some idea of the detail and how the finish is. But to my naked eye, which isn't all that good now, it looks like quite a nice and detailed model. So just a couple of things as I've started putting the loco on the track. First thing to note is, as well as some of the other carriages, we've also got a bar carriage in here, which is quite a nice touch. It sort of breaks up the train a little bit. Put him in the centre. And then in terms of the other carriages, there is a tongue affair on the centre bogie that drops into these slots in the other carriage. This does feel very fragile, and I did go back to the instructions just to check I'm doing the right thing. So you can see the gap is slightly more on this side, and you do have to give it a little bit of a push to get the clips to engage. And yeah, it's still not going. I'll do this very gently. Yeah, there you go, it's engaged. And then to release it, it says you twist it slightly and pull, but I won't do that at the moment. I'll carry on getting this onto the tracks, and let's get it moving. Out of the box, it was a little bit sticky to run, a little bit hesitant to pull away. Been running it back and forth a few times now, and it's beginning to look really good. And I have to say, what a lovely model. I'm so pleased with it. It's such a lovely model. One of the things I have noted is directional lights on the front and back of the carriage. So white lights going forward, red lights at the rear, and then they switch in the opposite direction. I'll turn the lights out in the workshop in a moment so you can see those in a little bit more detail. Sorry, the camera keeps picking up on other focal points. I've seen a little bit of a flicker on the lights. I don't know whether that's my controller and track, or whether it's just a little bit of dirt in there. Could be that, you know, these cars aren't fitted with a capacitor in there to stop the lights flickering. But the general model, I can't even get it in the whole frame. It's well over 1 metre long. You know, it's getting on for 5 feet long, and that's in N gauge. So it's really good. All I can do is I can just about, you know, run it to each end of my test track, and you know, it's just gone. I've just dropped the lights in here in the workshop, turned off the main lights. I've still got the underlighting on the layout here, and you can see forward, you can see the slight flicker I've got on the forward lights, and again on the rear you can see it switching to the red. Just do that again. So 3 lights, 2 at the lower and one above the cab. No lighting in the carriages, but as I say, it is end scale, so what can you, you know, probably higher my expectations a bit too far. It's just such a lovely model, it really is. It really is. So if you've seen Sam from Sam's Trains, he's a YouTuber with vast experience in creating superb videos. You'll know that he does reviews where he looks at the pulling capacity of various engines. I'm obviously not going to do that with this. I don't need to. It's pulling 10 cars with no effort at all. It is picking up from very, very low speeds right the way up to quite a decent acceleration. Unfortunately, I can't do it justice. I just don't have a long enough piece of track. I can only imagine what this would be like on a proper layout. Unfortunately, I can't, as I say, I can't show it going around any curves because I simply don't have that. But get this on a nice layout, I'm sure it would, go round at some speed. It will sound superb as well. So just for a bit of fun, I thought I'd put another TGV HO scale on the track next to the N scale Thalys. The grey one's not the Thalys variant. It's another TGV, another French Railways model, made by Juf. It's not to the same standard. You know, the quality's not there, but it just gives you some idea of the difference in the two scales. So there you go, the Kato Thalys. What a wonderful model, what a superb model. It ran well, it looked brilliant. I love the directional lights, although a little bit flickery on my track. Whether that would do it on other tracks, I don't know. The detailing for end scale, keep in mind this is end scale, the detailing is superb. This is a 1995 Kato model. I can only guess what they're doing with, you know, technologies today. So I think I'm probably going to invest in a more recent model and have a look at that myself. Maybe even review it on here. Anyway, the only other thing I wanted to say is putting this back in the box. I didn't do that on camera. The instructions that I showed earlier to separate the lead and dummy car, it says you just rotate and gently unclip. It didn't feel intuitive. I was very, very nervous unclipping those cars. And then when I came to the carriages, it says keep them on the track and gently pull them apart. To get them apart was far more force than I was comfortable with, and it didn't feel right. So I would be very worried taking this in and out of the box, you know, connecting it up on a regular basis. That's the only thing I would say. It felt quite fragile. I didn't break anything, and I think that was more through luck than judgment. I got it all back in the box in one piece, thankfully, but I was very nervous doing it. As I say, I didn't put that on camera because I had this feeling something was going to go, but it didn't. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me again. I do enjoy making these videos. I hope you're enjoying watching them. I'll keep doing a few more, and join me again for another review of something in the collection.